다 대초에 나다리 로아 먹은 나가 짜위 등을 전부 흠 또그 다 마켓스다는 마켓사서 매기 디모인들에 되니 양락 등을 거관도 시에는 양락 등을 개샤죠 이제 담보 다 머즈기 있는 정도 기르가 난 책을 등을 매차기 온 말에 뒤는 그 도미 기위 등을 거관도 시에나 되니 머스던 쓰이난 직된 그 감스 기회는 이렇게나 되니 다 마코나요디 되니 잠이 조장다는 리킹 거쇼 때라서 빨라때니 캐리용에다는 다 시바다 그 다var 그다 접적을 할리치 그 등을 모아서 좀 연구한데 되니 말에 케이 캐리용디 양나 되니 장랑가 머스던 쓰이나 카르쇼크이나 때리 다 너쇼크이나 때리 되니 시바 종종 좀 마코나는 용디 참마가 때리 그당니 땅 ngădra 지바 이거는 마토 제면은 장는 그 뭐가 나나 다리가 지 시바 다리가 고드라 지바 인직된 감수 용는도 되네 다리가 다 처럼 용하다고 그 소원데.
And so those are the three types of suffering that correspond the root sufferings that basically apply to all of us, to all beings, and no one is exempt from this. And then on top of that, the human condition in particular is characterized by the 8 branch sufferings. And the first of this is known as the 4 sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death. And so the suffering of birth is characterized actually before birth but after conception. And so when the child or the being is growing inside his or her mother's womb, there is a constant experience of discomfort depending on the food and the drink that the mother consumes, and every movement is experienced as suffering for that growing embryo and that growing fetus in the mother's stomach. And then when birth comes, and this is true in the East and also in the West, the very first sound that the baby makes upon being born is the sound of crying. I don't think I've ever heard of a baby being born laughing.
ngama ande America dana 대전들 호 아프리카가 뭐 몽올라 되니 감서 그 공남발라 트럭고 용아 친 남바 나수 하르쇼고 뭐였나 되니 총총인데 직된 감서 용디 ngădra 제바랬더니 아메리카 텐자인들이 코란소이나 옛날에 그 시바 창마티디 ngănăre 제가 되니 다리 호 아프리카가 뭐 좀치잖아 녜양 다리 공남발라 그 트럭고 용아다 공남비 용도시나요 다리가 단 직된 감서 용이나 tani tariga ta thogmi nirkabna tariga jikting ka kham ka dra tawo de chire na te ngada ka song onre ta te ina tu godra mambi gemsen de nga chu yang samlo zok go yo.
I actually I did a little research, really field work, you could say, because of course my only experience was based on the East, right, and what I had seen of my environment, my area, and of course every baby that I had ever known to be born would cry upon first entering this world. So of course I had to interview some Americans and some people from Africa continent and various different other countries, and I wanted to know. I said, well, in the East at least, I can say that when a child is born into this world, the first sound that comes out of their mouth is the sound of crying. Is that also true in your country and in your place? And they all said, the Americans, the Africans, they said, oh yes, of course, the first sound you hear when a baby is born is the sound of that baby crying. So think about this. It's actually worth thinking of the implications of the fact that there is not a single baby that you hear being born laughing. Why is that? Why is the first sound that comes out of our mouths when we are born the sound of crying?
tani tar gavi dengor zikyon ker gavan ker gava dengor gava de chirezena ngsu tari libo yin na jaga semkham yin na jaga wangbo choren ba jinda mar guk sone tiren ba de sende tat msdang senar keni namone zonte tani remgi tari wangbo mar guk konre tansan yin na momongbo zikene mergevi cheta khoirna tari lochong chung gare genen 다 직된 그 제출은 가래서 있나 캬버드 범미거릭 소이나 리보랑 자르고라 기르니르 담보 쇼한테 샘는 거 데친데 말아다리가 탕 땅우네 급니 냐메 름바비는 다리 메제이다는 제출티 모연제.
So the next type of suffering is the suffering of aging, and of course, aging is simply the entropy and the slow dissolution of the faculties of the body, and how as you age, these start to decline. And this happens for everyone. When you get older, of course, you're not in the same kind of state of fitness as before. And also specifically, of course, men and women, but specifically women, they will say in the worldly kind of words that when a woman looks in the mirror and sees her first wrinkle, that's the beginning of the slow demise of her happiness.
딱 당선거 내금나 다리가 지금 뭐 뭔보고 머게위 체도 강우 니르마다 하루 시다나 당선 진주지 진라다리 자르고데라 주르카게베다나 호이나 집시고다 디모이나다나 아메리카다 캐나다 디모거 망강는 거 드니 진라다리 주기르시기다 가때 아직 고르모 디모 메차이네나 달 호코레야다나 텔란다 디모 소송을 지렁어다나 드네 다리 고르모 뇽시즈 웹시데나 그거 다 강우거 게르니차가 하루 다리가 메빠이다나 주르칸 자당만다 장네다 인나요 다리가 머딱와서근데 교인디 라운전 시험 습도메니가 다 뜨거야나 다리가 뒤쪽거 다리가 다 게르니거 remote 곡탑거 요도 말해.
And like nowadays, of course, due to like the increasing dissatisfaction with the natural process of aging as it manifests in the facial structure and the appearance, many people are resorting to cosmetic surgery and doing whatever they can to try and erase the wrinkles and to bring about a more youthful appearance. And so for those who have the money to afford it, they will seek plastic surgery in America or in Canada. And those who don't have as much money, they'll go to Korea or Thailand to get their plastic surgery. But in any case, they use whatever money they can find to basically invest in preserving their youth. And although they may be able to achieve a temporary kind of regression, but yet since the very human nature is the nature of impermanence, then after a while, the oncoming wrinkles and the signs of aging can, at a certain point, not be reversed anymore.
tani kyug toba dari gernir tango to yakane tani chokbo jamba so ndela zazo yergo man ndar yarkam mon jogan de kene jimandi nyerma de me ti kyu dari jimchu chanu tag yense dan chokbo gari nga ta zemnyong
di dinala kap gyane luya di
nga ra ta sere jamba nga ta tsar sere
고치마서 고다 연결지 겸이기 터니 승게디 고치마
마고나 tani re 다 마고 손안 잡까
din 쪽보지기 라네 din 녀마던데 열이 라네
니 땅보 말았은 좋아 tani
So I once had a friend who suggested, because he saw the lines in my forehead, and he was suggesting, there's like things as different procedures that can be done to erase those lines.
다들 개비 등을 했더니 나비 등을 있나 더니 너 남바 성마가 다리 꼬지더래 캬버드 당선 거 더니 야큼 가레나 다 나빠 대소 탐쳤더는 다 니스주 희망 니스주 다리 야한즈 뭐도 이런데 다지 리보라 나즈 다리 삼기 메치 바요나 때 만큼 거는 그 주식 거더니 다 고르몰라스과야 메치다나 대신도 런거 다리가 다 나비 내급나 나마 리보 하정이 가지고 있나라 때마 토도 다 흥은로라서 비 치우거나 페르나 샤라 도고 포바타 제네 테마토도 리볼라 다리 니바멘는 디모도 남바녀리고가 다 대소상노 땅아치로는 고마 다리가 다 나비 등을 제근데 킨데요 메시 다리 리보가 땅 통용나 조트메 바지노도 고요래
And then, of course, the suffering of illness, the suffering of sickness, and of course, like specifically the suffering of the pain of sickness is further exacerbated by those who are without the proper medical insurance to afford the kind of medical care. So for those who do not have good health insurance, and then they're not only undergoing incredible, immeasurable suffering from their illness and the pain of the disease, but they are unable to have like the means to seek out the proper care and treatment. And so they have nothing to do but suffer that illness. And when a person falls sick, then no matter how strong one's health would have been before, in that moment, it's like one is helpless. And even though one had all this strength and energy before, it is just gone in that moment. And so that's the suffering of illness, unbearable.
nga tari hana australia 캐나다 대소년 콩 넘버 2이나 다 무스이 나더니 낫 나이다는 마나 돈조터 야컵 그 말을 고르모 전에다는데 니망 그 니스쪽 나이 하송은데 텐디 초마가 하나 다 야컵 팀메는 zonte 다리가 나요 머고사 몽보고 종치리아가 다 있나 아메리카 가서 되는 거 네스타도 있나 창마라 다리 테스타바 용 토크요 말에 텐디 다 세나 더니 다 나차 용어 치론디 데 마용 거 다다는 손로 막탄도 요 말에 데 마용 코나즈들이 다 릉거 리그 나즈도 텔레야나 라랑 수수코니 나 총총적인 나 등을 요노도 고요래
like in Australia and Canada, like in other countries, of course, like the medical system works differently, and there's like medicine that should be medical care more universally available. But like in America, it's not that way. Like you really need to have good health insurance to be able to get the proper medical treatment and so forth. And so it's kind of something that you maybe don't think about so much until illness strikes. But even like a small, like kind of minor illness, the pain can be quite great, especially when you don't have access to the best treatment.
다 드니 가비 등거라. 드니 다리 쉬위 등거래. 다 가비 때 쉬위 등거다 치레잖아. 드니 남바츠 참마고 또 무스당 쓰인난 치외 내급나 드니 다 작나다. 직작 대진더 등거 삼기면 기바즈 요너리 다 직팅 그 감거 지르제 롱쇼에 나자가 톰가탕 강당 강요지 잔즈기나 탐츠 또 시그 저게다나 되니 다 지 요그 탐츠도 땅에다나 랑 그거 쳄시마다리 비르조란 송너리 또 대인데 응수 무스인나라는 치와라다리 맞정는 좋은 말에 가르기나 다 시바즈긴도 기도 잠시 바즈리네 때 나가 나름도 세 마용도 이제다 다 뜻이기 온 말에 동거땅나 다리 시바즈기 온도 요네존테 나초 다리 찌르트 적기 잔즈기나 찌르트 때라 슈르지 잔즈기나 슈르 마타바타즈 다리 척여다 요티데 때 랑급산로 따나야나 다리 시바즈긴도 교도 나초 로총양 치기야 그 게지양 치기야 그 때인딘도 직다리 연롱오즈다 특롱오즈도 맨노데 산록땅고
And then, of course, the fourth suffering is the suffering of dying, the suffering of death. And whoever we are, everyone has a fear of dying. And there's tremendous fear and terror at the time of death. And in fact, the inconceivable suffering that one experiences when one is suddenly having to leave behind everything that they had, no matter how happy and well off they were, no matter how much power and influence and status they had at the time of death, and they helplessly must leave it all behind and travel on to the next life, to the next world. And so actually some people, they have like almost like a superstition about talking about death. It's like taboo, you know, you just like, it's like inauspicious, don't talk about it. But I mean, let's be honest here, this is the reality of life. And so why should we just run away and escape what is inevitably going to face every one of us? So it's better to have kind of a sense of a real reality of our own mortality so that we are more prepared, because young or old, young people die, old people die at any and all ages. And so don't have this sense that this is far away, as something that's never going to happen, but have a sense of understanding of the reality of death.
다 길가 난처 젠드긴데 깃머고고 다리 등머때 용머고다 먹지경 다리 요는 말에 식보였나 암용고너래 월보였나 암용고 쾌바였나 암용고너래 럼보였나 암용고너래 대진도는 다리 로총이나 암용고너래 게지나 암용고너래 대인디 다 응수다리 조암 머즈기네 존테 다가 길가 난치 등머 젠드긴데 등머 그 치오 침보지 제이다는 떡송은데.
So these sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death are sufferings that equally apply to all of us, whether you are rich or poor, whether one is a scholar, a knowledgeable scholar, an intelligent, wise person, or an ignorant idiot, or whether one is young or old. For everyone, these four truths or these four sufferings apply. And so no one is exempt, therefore, from the four great rivers of suffering, as they are called, of birth, aging, sickness, and death.
다 다른 수 소화가 좋나 그 문도바 톡도바 비등을세 문도바 톡도바 비등을도 치레세나 다른 거 자창이 나라는 자창 그 쩨동 nga만에 다리 차총지스 있나요 다 대당 다리가 그 냠도영 이런거 왔다 다리 늦고지다 다 자창 마인 바근에는 대인디 다리 고네식 바그 먹잠바이 나란 자가 대진도는 렁거 다리가네는 뜨근 소위 쳤더나 옙 머가사 셈 머가사 되니 뉴몽ozg다 냠던 듣고지다 대신도 이렇게면은 이렇게 먹죠 사진나 대당요 다리가 다 산에 되는 듣고지 샤와였나요 샤와 다리가 지금 줍 뭐뭐지들 연도 그 줍고지 다 디모즈금요 다리가 문도 바 톡도 바바지 어차기 당선 거 되니 로총 로총수 망보스 그네나 다 문도도 진대야나 그러나 롭찬도 이제나 롭자 단더다버스 문도 진대야 지금 맙도네 탑 메키는다 직된 그 감나요 문도 진도 샤워 주고 지 뭐마 뭐 저거 주고 님냐가 그 문도파 톡도 다리가 바삐 등을 센데
Awesome. And so on top of these sufferings, there's the suffering known as having to experience the onslaught of the undesirable suffering, like having to face what you don't want, what you're trying to escape from. It bombards you. And so an example would be like spouses who have no longer have like really a loving relationship anymore, and in fact it's very abusive, and yet for whatever reason they are forced to live together and they really can't stand to be with each other, and it is just sheer misery. And another example would be like any person or any situation in which one really does not want to face. One doesn't want to be with this person is like an enemy to them, but inevitably one is forced to kind of have to see them and spend time with them. Or even, it doesn't have to be a person, it could be a job that one really hates, but one has to go every day and spend a long time doing this work, doing this chore that one doesn't want to do, or a place like an office or a workplace that one can't stand to be in. So it could be anything like this. It basically means being forced to endure something that one actually cannot stand. And this also could be true for like the students. They really don't want to be here at the school, at the university, but they're forced to go and they have to like do their studies, but there's like this feeling of having to do what you don't want to do. And in any case, it could be anything in the world in which one has to do some kind of work or activity that one really cannot stand. And so it is being faced with the unwanted situations that one is forced to endure despite one's desires.
따뜻니 다른 노파 톡도 먹히라 노파 톡도 먹히라 지기도 회나 다리 런거 심나 할리 지그 이 지바다나 드니 다리가 가위랑 진짜가 공부스도 어라가 삼니나 따뜻 다리 럭 못해 회장나 당상 드니 제동거 타케나 런거 다리가 이뜬 로와가 쪽보 쪽모이나 어라가 삼니나 대 다리 톱 못톱지다나 가리가 옛날 저 런코르다나 대신던 강화 뉴스지거다 저 고르무다 응르제 마오 삼니나 대양 다리가 하즈도 머럭지다 가리가 옛날 런거 저 톱 고사이나 자가 머니 지 다리가 르갸르크 잔다 잔나 송에다나 뜨거 닙지다 늑 삼지나 따때도 소탐쳤도 머럭에다나 멋지인데 다리 제바가 동성의 용서 강하다 요노 따띠양 등거서 인고너래 무스당서 인나라는 당성근 소위 줬더나 다 가지고 고고 삼근도 기봉어서 거너래다 인나요는 노빠ጭ다 진도 톡도 다리가 쓰라 크리용도 하장 꿈모진 요 떠양 맞기 다리 맞게는 거 등을 찍으래
맞아. And then there's the suffering of not being able to achieve what one yearns for, what one desires. And so an example of that would be like there's a person that one really cares for and is infatuated with and wants so badly to have that kind of relationship, but then the other person, for whatever reason, is unattainable. And so there's this failure to be able to obtain the object of one's desire. And that could be in the form of another person, or it could be a person that wants to be able to buy a house or property or make a certain amount of money, but they're unable to attain it. Or, for example, wanting to be able to be in another country and be able to live there, but for whatever reason not being able to live in that other country and so forth. So in any case, we have like so many hopes and so many wishes in this life, and how many of these wishes do we actually get to fulfill? Actually, most people, if you look at them, they're constantly filled with aims and wishes, but most people live with unfulfilled wishes and desires. It's very, very rare to find a person that can say that they are truly fulfilled, that they've truly fulfilled all of their yearnings. This is also another type of suffering of the human condition.
다더니 역동화당 자리 등을 쓰기도 런거 다리가 가쪽에 있는 자가 겸 자창 있는 자가 디모즈들 인등 거야는 먼저에 다는 냠 찍더 더니 도삼네 있나 또 지타진도 삼토가 먼저 이치롱다 라라다리 자창 갑자리 인랑안 듣고죠 라라다리가는 런거요 더니 지다리가 쪽보 디모초 있나요 다리가 갑자리 라라 손질이다는 인롱 와던 듣고죠 라라 십질이다 먼저 진도 런거 파마시와다는 니니와시와라소바 티 니르금나 등을 다리 삼지메 기빠지고 좀 냥아 더니 이 득바담 자리 등을 송고요래
And then there is also the suffering of having to be separated from an object of one's love and attachment. So, for example, this could mean like a long-term relationship in which, despite one's best wishes, then one separates from the person that one truly loves. Or, for example, it could be like either being separated from somebody while alive or being separated by somebody due to death. For example, the death of one's parents or one's siblings or one's loved ones. But this is the suffering of being separated from one's objects of love and attachment.
다 양락거 등을 약거는 그 타마드 치레zen이 나또 그 풍보르가 어즉 소란데 신듯이 그 풍보르가 뭐또 다리 담반에 종때 그 등을 담자르면 시바타바스겠네. 그러나 저게 리기 풍보인데 요나 그 리요네 종때 긴데요는 낫겠네. 대신도 초라요네 종때 초라 다리가 지금 가오다는 머가오거는 양 다리 름바진데요는 등을 듣게되게요네. 대당 자와정은 더시 심마 탐책요는 등을 듣게되다. 드네 다리 풍보적인 듣게도 등을 그 기어다나. 등을 그땐 등을 그 스노타바인 제이다 샤도드네. 덴디 강 따리야나. 뭐 책은 직된 그 감수 요네 종때 남베 다리가 리당 셈거 다 예르는 거 풍부들라 된 거네 종때 그걸 등을 멈터니 윤물 종은 그게도 추니 따바지리다 요 놈이야 아드네 다리가 다 풍부 예르는 거랑 진짜 그 등을 제고 온래.
And so the final suffering of the 8 branch sufferings is the suffering of the basic aggregates. So we talk about 5 skandhas or 5 aggregates. These are the aggregates of form, feeling, perception, cognition, and consciousness. And so basically the idea behind this is that from the moment we have this body and this consciousness, then we are constantly inseparable from the very potential and basis of suffering all the time. We cannot be separate from this vessel that is by nature designed to experience pain and suffering. For example, like the very constituents of our physical body and the makeup of our physical body is one that is like almost like ripe for illness and in disease. And the very basis of the fact that we have feelings and sensations means that we can feel happiness but also suffering. And so actually, while we do not want this, we're constantly almost like vulnerable to suffering by the very basis of our body and our condition. And so in fact, that is why the aggregates, rather the body, has been termed as the cause of suffering, as the vessel of suffering, as the very basis for experiencing suffering. And so but in any case, if we live in this embodiment in this world, then once we have a body and a mind, then it's like we are constantly like vulnerable and designed to experience suffering continuously. And this is like the very nature of being built in this way.